Ay, kasi natagalan siya kanina.
Ayan. Okay, nag-notif din po sa akin.
Is it? Is it? Is it live?
I think so. Oh, parang live na lang.
Is it live?
Opo, live na.
Live? Well, hello everyone. Welcome to our channel, The Bee Mom, and I'm your host, Mommy Ayo. You know what? I've been thinking of doing webinars again, but that I kept postponing. It's because ang dami-daming trips. Okay, so let me just So I'm thinking, let me just, okay, sige. Hinintay ko lang muna tumahimik ako. I just want to make sure that it will not turn off when I close I think it will for a while. Can you hear the feedback, April? Okay, so you're not hearing anything. Okay. Okay, well, once again, hello everyone. This is your Bee Mom Ayo, and welcome to our channel, The Bee Mom. It's been a while since we started uploading videos, and now we're going to have our first special webinar with someone whom I not really recently met, but we had a very wonderful event together in Manila like 2 weeks ago. And so I decided to pursue this because when I heard about her webinar about intellectual humility, I was really hooked to it. And sabi ko nga, for us to discuss something about moms and our emotions about parenting, this is going to be the perfect person for this kind of talk. So I'd like to meet you. I'd like you to meet our B mom for tonight. She is an incredible consultant, an amazing member of the Global Psychosocial Task Force for Smile Train. We'll find out later what it is about. But you know what? Our speaker today is all about transforming lives, and she's advocating for many wonderful advocacies. And just recently, she's helping some girls, yung mga sabi nating some abused girls, no, in a certain foundation, sanctuary. And so she's giving a lot of help, wonderful insights and education and guidance for them. So mommy, muna natin patagalan. Let's welcome our B mom for tonight. Let's welcome April Adaw. Hello, mommy April. We want
Hi!
to hear your voice. Hello, mommy April. How are you?
Hi po! Magandang gabi! Thank you po for having me tonight. At I'm hoping to help or provide at least some uh, helpful insights for the mommies out here, especially for the Cleft community.
Yeah, well, what really struck me is that you are a cleft advocate. Could you tell us more about what you do in your profession?
I am a psychosocial program developer for Smile Train Philippines. And Smile Train is a nonprofit organization that provides cleft services like surgery, dental care, speech therapy, and psychosocial support, counseling, nutrition like breastfeeding is one, and also how you should feed a specific how to feed a cleft patient. So
Mm.
that's what one of the things that we provide from the organization. So it's an international organization. So Philippines is part of that. And last July 2023, we celebrated just for the Philippines only 75,000 surgeries since the organization started here sa Pinas, So yun
That's
po.
a lot. You're helping a lot of kids know with this kind of condition. That's really amazing. And I want to find out in the bee moms out there, tell us something about your family. Do you have kids and how old are they?
Yes, I have kids. I have two. I jokingly say two pieces. Parang dalawang piso, but they are more than that, of course. Um, I have an 8-year-old boy and a 4-year-old girl, 4 years apart. We intended them to have that specific gap. At the same time, I've been married for more than 5 years. Secret na lang. Ganon. Ang age ko. Because I know I look young. Most of the people I talk to, they would like, oh, I'm still young po. I'm still in the early 30s. So,
Yes, you
uh,
are. But my son commented when he saw your poster, the one that I posted on my Facebook feed. He said, "Mom, is she a teenager?" O, di ba? Plus points ka agad yun. Alright?
friend ako,
Well,
friend ko siya.
yeah. Well, you know what? Why we chose this topic for tonight? Kasi alam natin to. I keep hearing this from a lot of moms, how depressing it is. You know, yung roller coaster of emotions ng isang nanay, given na yon. Pero pag dinagdagan mo pa ng another element, which is when you are taking good care of children with, let's say, special or unique needs, then the game becomes even more challenging. Is that correct?
That is correct po. I agree. I agree.
Ano, paano natin ngayon, how do we handle ourselves if we are the parents of children with special needs, or we know someone who also has this same family set up, and how can you provide support to them? And at the same time, how do you get ready, or how do you motivate women who will get into marriage and be prepared for some challenges along the way, no? So yun ang pag-usapan natin. And I think that what's important right now is for us to establish yung, nakita ko to sa'yo, minsan pinresent mo to, yung, ang tawag ko, the feeling wheel, okay? Parang gusto ko malaman, ilang emotions ba ang pinagdadaanan ng isang tao? Nalala ko tuloy yung movie, no? Natatandaan mo, iba't iba mga emotions. So, ilang emotions ba? And how often do we go through the wheel, no? Is that in a given day, do we feel all of these emotions? And how do these emotions play with our usual, sabihin natin, routine? How do they really affect us when it comes to our decisions, to our moods, and everything in between? Okay? So with that, I think we're ready. So make sure, mga mommies nanonood, ang dami na nanonood ngayon, and I want to say hi, because I think this is really not just interesting, but a sensitive topic as well that needs someone who knows to handle it. So ngayon, papasukin na natin yung mga ibang mga guests natin. Nandito na sila. Kindly put on mute para po maintindihan natin yung magiging tuturo sa atin ni Miss April. Okay, April, I'm going to show the one you asked me to show us, to give us the background, or iset natin yung mood for tonight. You call it the feeling wheel. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So yung feeling wheel, one of the things I love about this wheel is, wait lang po, ako ay nag-pin, nakapin. I cannot see the wheel. But the feeling wheel, as you can see, before, like you said about the movie, Inside Out, the
Yes.
Inside Out is, it's based on research. So one of the things that we are very much reliable on ay sa mga siyensya, yung mga pinag-aralan po ng mga eksperto. And one thing I like about the feeling wheel ay binigyan po ito ng iba't ibang kulay, kung makita ninyo sa screen, mga mommies. It's different, no? Pag sinabing mad, merong sa loob na pinakaloob. Tapos meron sa outer circle, no? Second, inner. And then yung mga nakapalibot na mas medyo complex pa. Usually what happens to us, mas maganda ma-fill up mo siya with a specific word para mas makapag-decide tayo ng tama. A psychologist named Susan David, she's a Harvard professor and also a psychologist. Isa sa mga tinuturo niya is, we are not our emotions, which is true naman. It's an instinct Kumbaga, kung natakot ka, instinctive yun siya. Kasi, ba't naman di ka matatakot kung merong, ako, takot ako sa aso. If there's something na very may danger eh. Like the fight, flight, freeze, fawn response. Yung automatic responses natin as human beings. No? Because we also have, from scientists, they call it animal brains. So, automatic na meron po tayong mga mararamdaman na emosyon. And usually, mararamdaman muna. Iinit yung tenga mo pag galit ka.
Mm.
And then, automatic, you will feel cold sa hands or on other parts of your body, like sa paa. Say it's either preparing you to fight, to leave, or fight a flight, leave a specific scenario that might put you in danger. So, pag ganun, makaka-feel na agad yun tayo ng physical sensations in our body. And then, the emotion, madalas hindi natin masabi yung nararamdaman. Kaya yung iba naguguluhan.
Yeah.
Hindi nila alam kung ako ba ay natatakot o baka duwag lang ako. So, minsan magkaiba yun. So, dahil naduduwag daw sila, kaya sila lumabas. Pero technically, there are specific reasons why we feel certain emotions. And from uh, from the experts, it's stated that they have stated that when we feel certain emotions, it's because it's rooted to our values. Yung mga bagay na natin, pinahahalagahan. So, yun, medyo, kaya, it's best na when we feel something, it's there. So, maganda daw, according to Dr. David, na you put a space between that. The emotion, and then, the, nakita ko yung ano.
Oo, di ba? Natural yan.
So,
Mamis nga naman talaga.
Mamis nga. So it's normal naman daw to feel certain emotions, but you just say I feel sad. It doesn't mean it's you. So when you put the word feel, it's creating a specific space para
Mm-mm.
that it's for a time lang. And then after on, you can decide what you want to do in reaction to that specific emotion that you felt. So
Okay, well, what I'm learning from you is, April, number one, you have to recognize, parang may label yung mga emotions natin. And
Opo.
we really need to know, ang dami nitong kakabisaduhin natin mga mamis, ano? I'll give you a copy of this. Pero kasi nga, pag hindi mo alam yung nararamdaman mo, how can you verbalize that? And how can people around you know what you are going through? Di ba nga minsan yung mga asawa natin are totally clueless what's happening? Ano nangyayari sa'yo? And tayo din, I don't know. It's just that hindi natin masabi. Pero dapat pala, do not give them a difficult time. You gotta tell them what you're feeling. Because sabi nga ni April kanina, may mga signs naman of, this mga primal na mga emotions, fear, diba, love, mga ganun, envy, jealousy. The other thing you said is that you also have the choice to move out of that emotion when you're feeling that. Ibig sabihin ba nito na talagang it's a choice na whether you want to stay angry, and it's also a choice na you cannot be angry for the long time. Pag dinecide mo, kayang-kaya ba yun? Na umalis ka dun sa emotion na yun?
I would say yes and no. For some, they are able to learn. We can learn how to regulate our emotions.
Mm. Mm-mm.
For others, they have learned since childhood, childhood development, na minsan when you are angry, that's the right thing to feel, and you cannot really switch to another one after that. And
Yeah.
notice this consistent behavioral pattern for the moms that I talk to, also from the patients who are old enough to recognize what they feel, mostly like around 16 and above,
Mm-mm.
especially the
Mm-mm.
professional, the cleft patients who are adults na. Marami silang, like most of them do go through bullying experiences. And one thing that they always say, hindi naman po ako galit, nalulungkot lang po ako. But
Oo.
there are certain emotions na dapat actually makaramdam din ng galit. Kasi the anger is stating what you really value, or what is important for you. Like, is it okay for you that injustice is being done para sa iyo? Na okay lang ba sa iyo na ganyan-ganyanin ka lang? So it's rooted, makikita rin po eventually na nasanay na sila na it's part of their life, na pag sila ay
Mm-mm.
bully, okay lang, wala silang pwedeng gawin. Kasi they thought na yun yung tama kasi yun ang nakalakihan nila. So to answer po, yes, pwedeng magbago, and no, it has to be learned kasi.
Oo. So we're not talking about unhealthy emotions, no? Yung mga suppressed, ones that you cannot label, ones that you cannot process. At sabi mo nga, yung response to that is also wrong na. Kaya ang napakaganda ng foundation na to, no? Nakikita ko kasi yung level of intensity, di ba? May mad. So hindi naman talaga siya going sa mad ka kaagad. Meron pa siyang mga outer layers pa na hindi ka pa talaga sobrang galit. Tapos dun din sa powerful, joyful, scared, so may mga levels, no? Is that how I should understand this feeling wheel?
I think so, yes po. And every person would have a different understanding for this wheel. Especially the basic, which are the mad, sad, peaceful, powerful, joyful, scared. Most
Mm.
often, hindi talaga natin sa malabelan. Kaya, masabi lang na selfish. You feel selfish. Technically, there's a root
Oo.
experience to that. Probably nung bata ka, pinagkaitan ka rin, yung mga ganon.
Oo, oo. Ang ganda
Uh,
nito, and I think that we also should do our own research, more readings about this, how to really recognize our emotions before we can handle them. Now, sa segue na ako ngayon doon sa mga katanungan ng mommies, no, because I know that this is something that we need to learn as well. Una kong gustong itanong is this. Now, how can mothers overcome yung part ng wheel na to, yung feelings of guilt, self-doubt, inadequacy? Saan ba yan nakakalagay dyan? Parang nandito siya sa ano, no, sa scared, no? That may arise resulting from raising a child with special needs. Alam mo,
um,
minsan nakikita ko yung ano na yan yung pag-express na yan, nababasa mo yung minsan sa social media, mga feed nila. Kikita mo talaga doon na parang they feel that they're less of a mom, o kaya naman napagtaasan ng boses and they felt that, I lost it. So may guilt. Tapos meron din, can I really do this parenting? I don't know if I'm capable of it. So doon pa lang, how can they address that and more so overcome?
Katulad po nung nabanggit ko earlier, it starts actually with how we are raised as children, as kids, nung kabataan po natin. It's very crucial as we go through life. We get to be aware of what we feel and get to have the knowledge or words, vocabulary para maging knowledgeable po tayo how to help ourselves. So awareness first. Kung hindi mo pa alam yung mga specific feelings, then you have to learn. Ganon din po sa mga, especially this actually works with kids. According to research, it's best nga daw to give them vocabularies how to help para they can also help themselves. And I agree with what you said earlier po, Miss Ayo, na there are no bad, healthy or unhealthy feelings. All of these are just, it's created for us to feel like,
Mm.
to be alive. And this is what separates us from animals.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So to overcome specific emotions that we do not like, we do not have to, according to research, wag siyang isantabi. Wag mo
Oo,
siyang
oo.
express. But you have to feel it just for the moment. And then, give the space for you. Kuwari, for example lang po, no, ako, nagalit ako sa anak ko. Since I don't know how we established it, but we were able to come up with a dynamic na pag galit si mommy, it's just because mommy is angry because I never had enough time to understand how I felt when I was angry when I was a child. So it's reflecting my childhood to him sa panganay ko. And he understands. I mean, it's okay, mommy. Kaya one time when I said sorry, I'm sorry I yelled at you earlier. It was not really because of you, because mommy has a lot of deadlines. Sabi ko ganon. And then he said, it's okay, mommy. I know it's hard to contain our madness. Sabi ko, wow. Ilang taon ka
He
na?
understands. Nakaintindihan.
Understand.
Oo.
And it's the same thing
Mm-mm.
with him. No, mommy, I'm sorry. I scattered all this because I can't really decide what to draw. Ganun siya.
Mm-mm. Well, it's the power of not underestimating your children because they understand, they know things as well. And hindi unique sa'yo yung mga feelings mo eh. Sabi mo nga, it's for everybody. It's built in na sa atin, pero may mga triggers lang, diba? Kaya natin nararamdaman yung mga ganon. I like that you said na involve yung kids in your process as well. Kasi ang isang problema natin is yung enemy natin of being, you have to be perfect.
Yes.
Especially if you're kind of mom na masyado ka mapagmasid sa paligid mo. And when you compare yourself, either you feel superior or you feel inferior, di ba? Laging ganun yan. Dalawa lang bagay na nangyayari dyan. Kaya ito na yung gusto ko maintindihan din ng mga parents ngayon. Of course, hindi mawawala talaga yung mahirap na parte. May mga very challenging moments that can throw you off. Ibig sabihin yung out of balance ka na sa galit ka, diba? Kaya naman na-frustrate ka na talaga. Let's talk about self-care. What specific things about self-care that they need to pursue?
Yeah. Self-care is different for all. I think everyone understands that part. And I think what works best for you, you should do it because you know yourself better than anyone else. And to overcome self-doubt, that starts with us. Nabanggit niyo po yun kanina na minsan nagigilty tayo pag we experience something na hindi natin natrato ng mabuti yung bata. And to counter that, one thing about relationships, especially with our children and our spouses, we should know how to repair. So part of self-care is also repairing something that was destroyed. So
All right. I love that's new to me.
yeah.
Repairing, huh? Oo.
So that includes saying sorry. So for some adults, they are not used to say sorry as part of the reparation of a specific relationship, and that's okay. I think it's very much, if we do want a healthy family and if we want to be emotionally healthy, we have to learn that. Again, it's a learning thing. Since these are coping strategies, um, skills that we can learn. It's a skill also to say
Mm.
na talagang yung sa puso mo. So for others, every kid, I think, and personality has their own love languages. So we have to adjust to that and respect that's how they do it. So like for
Okay.
example, like my husband, his love language or saying sorry is through service. Pag binigyan niya na ako ng gatas o juice o kung ano man, that I know na okay, he's saying sorry. And then nag-level up na. Kumari ngayon, nag-ano na siya. May word na sorry. So it's the same thing with the kids, but the kids are they are more forgiving and resilient. And wag mo nang pigilan as a mom. It's instinctive for us as mothers, as nurturers, to have our hearts melt when they try to
Oh,
us. So for others na I talked to a mom, she described it as parang awkward, yucky, cringy daw. Diba sabi ko,
oo.
that's normal. I think because you're not used to it when you were a kid. But since your anak, natutunan niya and he's trying to apply it too. So why not allow your son to also help you? So yun.
Kasi, what I was expecting about the answer to my question, like self-care, readily in my mind, oh, you do exercise, you do yoga, you go out and treat yourself, mani, peri, food spa. But what you're saying is it should come from the inside out. Pag walang peace of mind, if there's something that's broken, that's not repaired,
Mm.
at the end of the day, when you go home, kahit gaano tayo kaganda, no,
Ready.
nagpapamper tayo ng sarili natin. Pero the problem is still there. Like broken relationships, you hurt your kid, you hurt your spouse. You still go back to the same spirit at home na hindi maganda.
Mm-mm.
So, yung self-care, yung physical manifestation nun will be totally useless. Parang mababaliwala, di ba? Gumanda
Oh,
naman tayo, no? Gumanda yung skin natin, pero hindi ka
so
pa rin, wala ka pa rin sa proper frame of mind and emotions.
yes, because I really believe, and also in science, it has been proven by research that relationships is actually the one of the factors for longevity, longer life.
I love that. Kung gusto mo habang mga buhay, mga B-Moms, go ahead. And of course, you're watching the B-Mom with Mommy Ayo, and with us today is April Adaw, and she's doing a lot of wonderful work for kids with special needs. Particularly, she is a Cleft advocate. Okay, and I'm so happy that she's here because she's enlightening us with a lot of things about our emotions, our parenting roles to kids with special needs. Kahit nga ang nakikita ko sa mo, April, yung mga sagot mo, it's as if, we don't really treat differently the kids. Let's say, yung mga, shall we say normal? Am I like being biased on saying that? But, raising normal kids versus kids with unique or special needs, nakikita ko that you're saying practically the same principles. The principles
Yes.
apply. The principles of love, the principles of understanding. Tama
Yes.
ba?
Yes,
Uh-huh.
true. And also, like in the feeling wheel, there's a purple, which is pain. When we feel pain, most of the time, it manifests for others as anger. But with people or parents with children with special needs or unique gifts, they experience stress differently. Which is true naman. It has been proved by research that they experience it differently higher compared to those who does not have a physical needs, unlike other normal children. So one thing that was also in that research, sorry, I forgot the authors, but for those with cleft, it is said na lesser actually dahil sila na as parents, they see their children as something with a deformity, a facial deformity. One thing that has actually went down is the need for pressure.
Okay.
These parents become more understanding of their kids. Not all, but from
Mm-mm.
research, they become more understanding of their children, and these parents also become more empathic of their kids. Meaning, hindi lang basta maawa sila, but sinasamahan nila yung anak nila habang nasa pain. On the flip side of that, may ibang parents naman na medyo hindi na-regulate, meaning hindi pa nila natutulungan yung sarili nila. Their pain of seeing their kids with a facial deformity, uh, unfortunately induces higher stress, which
Yeah.
to lesser availment of other cleft services. Meaning, hindi na
Mm.
imbis na 3 surgery dapat yung bata, isa na lang kasi natatakot na yung
Yeah.
nanay.
Oo.
Yung iba, pagkagaling sa recovery room, like I always say, which is also consistent sa behavior of others, after recovering ng bata, dahil nahihiya yung nanay, the mom is ashamed because of public, maraming
Humiliation. Mm.
oo, imbis na akapin yung anak habang nasasaktan, either napapahiya rin niya or napapalo niya yung bata. So unfortunately, that's a reality that we must be able to understand. And with the work that I do, I also learn from these moms kasi I also see myself kahit na, alam mo yun,
Oo.
madapa
Mm.
yung anak ko, yung una kong natutunan before, 'pag nadadapa ka, dapat pagalitan mo kasi hindi siya tumitingin sa kalsada. Hindi pala dapat yung una pala is you show
Tayo,
support.
tayo!
Oo, huwag kang umiiyak. Gano'n. So, ano pala dapat, your concern is first for the feelings of your child. Kasi kung paano ka mag-react, they will also do the same thing eventually to their to your next generation. So, that's true. Minsan, what we learned, we thought is right as parenting skills. Uh, Sometimes not really helpful for the mental health, and ang tawag po nila dito, napapasa mo yung hindi healthy and
Yeah.
specific traumas that you passed on. Kaya whenever nababanggit ko po minsan in conversations with other people when they ask me, "Oh, dalawa lang kayo, ay dalawa lang yung anak mo." I say,
Yeah.
"I'm good." But of course, for those who would understand, I state my reasons. I think it's mentally important that I, as a mother, is able to mentally have the capacity to care for them so that when they become parents, they are better than me as a parent. Kasi I was also good to them. I showed kindness when they were in pain. I was able to sit with them through the pain instead of showing anger na akala ko kasi when I noticed other parents as well, yun yung tama. So,
Parang
yun.
may pinangahawakan ka na, no, 'di ba? Yung yung ang tawag mo doon, na dapat, you command, you respect, you want people to see you
Ah,
on a pedestal, kaya you cannot allow these things. Kaso kung nangyari nga sa'yo that, God has given you these children, tapos hindi ka prepared emotionally. I love it that, yung pain, it's really a refiner's fire for both the children and the parents in the process. Ito ngayon, some are not really fortunate, right? Some are unfortunate when it comes to parenting. Let's talk about teenage moms.
mm,
Teenage moms out of wedlock, tapos nagkaroon pa sila ng special children.
mm.
And sila talaga yung hindi nga sila marunong mag-alaga pa sa mga sarili nila. How much more? They have newborn babies. And if they're not really trained and educated on that, hindi mangyayari yung mga sinasabi natin ngayon, no? So
Mm.
ngayon, gusto ko malaman, Miss April, are there specific organizations, tools, resources for anyone out there, regardless of their circumstance, pero they're still struggling about how to cope up? Can you recommend mga specific na mga resources na yan para, you can go to this website or you can visit this, and then they can learn something out of it?
From the work that we do, we have a support group that does virtual sessions for all mothers. And it's categorized by age, especially po para sa mga teenage mothers. We are very much aware sa sitwasyon din nila. And at the same time, aside from the groups that we have, it's called Smiled Kids Cleft Group. Hello kay Miss
Mhm.
Con and to Dr.
Hi,
Jenny.
sige.
Nag-promote. Pero aside from their group, we also have Smile Train Partner Hospitals. As this is specifically just for the cleft mothers. Kaya
Mm-mm.
maganda ang tawag namin doon legit Marites session.
How is that so?
They share their best practices of mothering a cleft child, which I think is very helpful for them kasi when you see someone who is in the same situation as you don't feel alone. So support system mo actually is a very very helpful tool to make sure na yung support system mo it will help you
Okay.
become better. Kasi there are
Oo.
there's support systems na hindi. uh,
Ayun, yung gusto ko actually may nagtanong nga dito sa channel, sa ano natin, sa page
okay.
natin. Like, how far should you go daw in, reaching out to other moms, to other people about what you're going through? Kasi nga, sabi mo, legit marites yung sa Smile Train na ginagawa. Pero, hindi ba parang minsan nakakasama pa din yung sobra kang nagda-divulge ng personal information, yung struggles mo? What should they be warned about that?
Oo, when we say opo, totoo yun yung nag akala nila it's venting out. Uh,
Oh.
kaya minsan yung when we say kami, nung when I established the support group and named it as parang legit Marites session, that there should always be a moderator
Mm-hmm.
who is able enough to handle the specific conversations going on. Kasi pag hindi, and you dump, ang tawag daw po dun ay dumping, emotionally dumping what you're going,
Yeah.
hindi siya nagiging as effective of a session or a support session, a group session as it is. So every support group needs to have a good moderator to to funnel out and regulate specific topics na hindi naman talaga na mali pala. So dito
Oh.
support group sa cleft community, since the moderator most of the time is Miss Yvonne, she is able to correct these moms na pare pinag-usapan nila about breastfeeding. Sabi, dapat
Oh.
yung bote na bibilin mo after mo mag-breastfeed. So eventually, she's able to correct according to the practices as suggested by the doctors, no? Kaya kung kayo po ay mag-overindulge or overshare ng
So,
inyong
overshare.
overshare ng inyong information, be sure kasi minsan oversharing our life experiences, it creates harm to others pag walang moderator. Ah, yung iba nato-traumatize dahil sa kwento ng iba. Totoo naman din po yun. Kasi we all have different levels of understanding, especially pag sinabi ko, ito masakit. Yung masakit ko is a 10. Pero yung 10 para sa
Yeah.
kanya is actually 1 for her. Or 3 or 4.
Yeah.
So, different. Kaya maganda po na may moderator who is able to neutralize a specific topic. And, or kung dalawa lang kayo na mag-uusap, magkukwentuhan, you also need to make sure, and ewan ko if this help, but this is just my suggestion. Seeking consent sa iyong kamarites. Okay lang ba mag-share ako? Ready ka ba? Kaya mo ba? So that allows also the listener to be prepared and have that boundary, hopefully na masabi niya yung boundary niya na, teka lang, di ko na yata kaya. Tama na muna. So, dapat may ganun na parang setting expectations bago ka mag-share ng iyong nararamdaman. So,
Pero tamang dynamics, no? Hindi lang basta na tayo nag-share. And lalo na mga mommies, parang we're so thirst for bonding and connection. And I've seen that in a few groups where they dump, overshare. And here comes a mom, here comes someone na parang who knows everything and then would give advice because this person is asking for advice. But talk about, sabi nga din ni April, there's a moderator who's also credible in a way that meron ba siyang certain educational capacity to really handle such issues. Because if it's coming from opinions, hindi tayo matatapos. And what if you gravitate towards someone na hindi mo rin naman pala alam yung 100% of the story, yun ang ginawa mo, tapos ill-advised ka ngayon. And one thing that I observe also, Miss April, is that when you overshare and when you give the duty of, getting answers from other people, nagiging ano ka na rin, nagiging less effective ka. Because you're not using your own faculty or your own thinking, your own judging. Kaya mabilis ka maniwala sa mga sabi-sabi.
Sabi-sabi, yes. Love that.
But people can affect you so much because you have given yourself out to the world. And I think that's a very dangerous thing to do.
That is true. I so agree po sa sinabi ninyo. Kaya I really love yung topic discussed by a speaker sa Beware Management Society when they talked about know-it-all instead of this is Astrid Domines, the president of UVU. She said it's good to be a learned-it-all instead of a know-it-all. And having the ability to admit that you do not know a specific topic, you should have the courage to say that. Kasi most of the time, if akala mo alam mo lahat, you are creating harm for others. And you as a source of information or the opinion that you shared, tapos hindi ka pa magiging accountable na sinabi mo pala yon at i-gaslight mo pa yung iba na nila, nako, you are, I think, I wouldn't want to be friends with you. Yeah.
Because the damage is quite diba? It's quite big. If there's one thing I observe talaga, because I've done webinars a lot sa maraming mga topics, no? And each time I invite a psychologist, someone in the medical field, they're so careful about asking me what specific things they want to really share. Ako pala pag tinatanong, what will you share? What topic? And then they're very conscientious in a way that, teka, ito lang yung gusto kong explain because you know what, hindi pwedeng sa isang hour na yon, like, they're not know-it-all talaga. Katulad ng pag-invite ko kay April, sinabi talaga niya that this is really just the topic. We just cannot cover like, depression, suicide, and everything. This is just specific things because I think ang pinag-uusapan natin dito is ano nga ba talaga yung educational capacity, diba? Dapat meron tayong ganon. Hindi lang basta meron tayong empathy towards others. So, minsan pa nga nakakasama yan eh. Hindi lahat ng mga good intentions. Sometimes it's the way leading to something else. Okay? Ang dami na po natin natutunan ngayon. You're watching the Be Mom with Mommy I, and of course, Be Mom April. Ang kasama po natin ngayong gabi. Ang dami na po natin na pag-usapan about how we should be treating our children with special needs and children in general. How do we go about assessing ourselves, recognizing our feelings. How do we go out and get the support that we need from other people? Okay, so ganito ngayon, isang specific scenario. What if may mga tao talagang taklesa, or they just want to hurt you intentionally. And they would comment about how your child is behaving, or they would just simply comment on your child's physical features. Masakit yun, di ba? Na suddenly, minsan paranoia na din na parang feeling mo pinagtatawanan ka, pinag-uusapan kayo. When you are in that situation, when you think that you are very vulnerable, feeling na parang mawawala ka sa sarili mo, that you can handle this situation because there's a lot of people judging you, anong dapat mong gawin sa moment na yon?
When you were asking that question, the specific voice of my mentor, because she always promotes this, you have to state your boundaries. If you do not feel safe with that person anymore, or let's say, like for the Cleft community, minsan yung nang bubuli pa sa kanila, kamag-anak nila eh. Unfortunately,
Yes,
there are cases like that. And it's the same thing with people who would come to you for help. Like, wari, may lalapitan sila, akala nila yung tao na to makakatulong sa kanila. And eventually, this person that they asked help from would gaslight them. Kasi when we say gaslighting, is they would make you question yung naranasan mo, yung reality mo, yung experience mo. So if you want, I wanted to add earlier, ngayon ko lang naisip po, is when someone asks help from you, make sure na you also respect their experience. It's I'm sure that person who asked help from have thought carefully that you can help them. And then you will just question their reality. That hurts more. So sana hindi ka na lang, yeah. Pero one thing naman po, when someone comments about your child's features or how you parent a specific parent, your specific child and their behavior, it's part of the culture ng Filipinos to collectively comment on things. And that when we say collective, akala nila it's a reflection of the group. Kung ano yung behavior mo, it's a reflection of, yeah, kumare, this is very common in the Philippines. Kilala ko yan. Ano yan, naging alaga ko yan nung bata yan. Yan, doktor na. Sabi ko. Tapos tatanungin ko, I would jokingly ask, close po kayo ngayon? And then she's like, oh, hindi. So, na-burn. I intentionally burned yung kanyang fire. But from my point of view, I think we have to understand that individuality is not a collective thing. It can help. It can help as a support system for you as a person, but it does not reflect your success also. If that person is successful because you know him or her, it doesn't mean na successful ka din. Same thing with, and same thing as, like, I have, my kids have a lola from both sides, no? Shout out po sa aking mga mother and mother-in-law. But they are really great women that I admire how they parented their kids. So whenever they try to discipline my kids po, I have so much respect for them. But one thing, pag may hindi ako nagustuhan, I try to speak up. And I've learned this principle to state my boundary from a good leader. He said, kindness in communication, firmness in the truth. You can be kind in communicating, but you have to also be firm in what you believe is right for you and for your.
Love that. Yes. Can you repeat that, Miss April?
Kindness in communication, firmness in the truth. Meaning, this is what you know. So, especially sa mga nanay, I think nakakalimutan natin minsan na as mothers, tayo talaga yung may pinakakilala sa ating mga anak. Kahit na sabihin natin na 10 yung anak niya, 15 yung anak niya, or marami na siyang naalagaan, I think I am a religious person, so I've always believed that a specific child has been put in your care because that he knows you, that you are capable enough to take care of this child. And ikaw lang bibigyan niya ng mga ideas how to take care of this child. So it doesn't mean na hindi siya nakaka 100 or hindi siya naka 95 sa scorecard niya is he is a dumb kid. Walang
Yeah.
utak. But as a mother or someone who has been a steward of a living thing, of a child, ikaw yung may alam kung paano mo siya mahahasa. So why not
Yes.
get out of the box just for that kid? State the boundary na, okay, tama na, nabully mo na siya, sana masaya ka sa ginawa mo. Okay lang.
Grabe naman, ano?
Itin mo yon, hindi na kami lalapit sa iyo. I hope you understand.
Yes.
You should respect that. Kasi if my kid would keep on going back to you, I don't think he or she will have a good childhood because you're doing that. So,
Uy, naalala ko lang mabilis ha. 'Di ba, sabi mo state your boundaries. One thing naalala ko, sinabi ko talaga to that you should not, I told my husband na we will never force our kids to sit on the laps of your aunts and uncles. Oo, sabi niya, kasi parang, sa iba kasi parang walang mali siya. But for me, I know it's a boundary that I need to set also with other people. I cannot force my kid to hug them or to kiss them if they don't feel like doing it. And the more that I respect those boundaries, the more they also respect their bodies and also yung pagkatao nila. That's how you build also yung sila may sarili silang paninindigan din, no? Without really acting so much na parang sabi mo nga yung may firmness ka rin. You're also kind in communicating, pero a no is a no is a no, right? You cannot bend that. Now, Miss April, alam natin na some of the things can be addressed through this networking groups, through this self-care, and other ways. Let me ask you, what is the role of spirituality? Because you mentioned that you're a religious person. What is the role of spirituality in all of this? How can a person cope up with this if they have a strong relationship with God?
ganda ng question. Thank you po for appreciate.
Next question, please.
It's a really good question kasi one thing I've learned po for me from my studying and interacting with parents and my own parenting and my own relationship with my husband, my marriage and my family is emotions. They ought to be regulated, meaning dapat siyang maisaayos, but at the same time, they are sacred. It connects me to God. I think prayer, one thing I love about Philippines is it's a Christian country. Lahat tayo, most of the people I've met in the Philippines is ano talaga sila, marelihiyoso.
Malapit sa Diyos. So.
Lapit ko talaga sila sa Diyos. And I think that separates parenting and the work ethics of Filipinos is because the quote, that most common quote, nasa Diyos ang awa, nasa tao ang gawa.
Tamang gawa, yan.
Change, if you want to change something sa ating pamilya, lalo sa ating sarili, we believe, or Filipinos collectively believes that we have to work for it and at the same time ask help from the deity. So it's very that emotions allows us to connect with God, and at the same time, as we connect with God, for me, from how I've learned it, it allows us to change ourselves. Kaya kung mapapansin po natin, ang mga Pilipino ay very humble na mga tao. Meaning, ano sila, mapagsumikap despite ng kung gaano kadaming bagyo yung dumarating sa ating bansa, we are able to become very resilient people. In spite of everything. Very, ano po din po tayo, we believe in bayanihan. Bayanihan meaning collective achievement of progress.
Yes. Mm-mm.
Although may mga downside, may mga ugly traits din naman. I'm not dismissing that.
Di mo mawala yun.
Wala yun. But I think that's one of the things I love about Filipino people is we believe na we ought to help others despite of kung ano man ang ano nila, ethnicity, estado sa buhay. And I hope we get to a point na when we feel certain emotions, hindi lang basta naawa ko, bibigyan ko siyang pagkain. We have to be cautious or intellectually cautious, how our help can actually provide relief for that person. Kasi minsan, dahil sa kagustuhang makatulong, it creates a different behavior or a different result for that person. Instead, tulungan din niya yung sarili niya, hindi na gagawa yung tao. Wala nang gawa. Puro na lang awat.
Yes. Wow. Hanggang naano ako na mesmerize ako kaya dinadijust ko yung mga sinabi ko.
Salamat po.
There are things that are beyond our control, beyond our power to solve. And personally, mga B-moms, that's also what I espouse. Regardless of religion, we're talking about spirituality. What is your personal relationship with the God whom you believe? Kasi po, marami tayong hindi kaya as mortal beings. And yung minsan overwhelming na sa atin, when you get down on your knees and surrender yourself to God, it's a different thing. It actually elevates you and makes you see things on a higher perspective, on a more eternal perspective. Ibig sabihin, hindi ka nalilimit sa yung condition ng mortality na hanggang dito lang yung understanding natin. I hope that we are getting a sense out of what we're talking about. Kasi nga, hindi po madali. Sa kahit anong setup, family setup, sabi nga, walang perfect na family. If you think there's a perfect family, you just don't know them well enough. Hindi mo lang talaga sila kilala. Because if you're gonna spend an entire day, maybe wala ka pang makikita, but try living with that family for the next couple of days, makikita mo na, okay? But we're not saying that we want to find fault with other families. Kasi nga, ito ngayon, pinag-uusapan natin that meron tayong kanya-kanyang unique na mga circumstances. And now we're talking about parenting children with special needs, which according to Miss April is not really different when you are parenting regular kids, in a sense that when we show love, when we show respect, it's just the same. It's a universal language for everybody because all of us need the same. All of us are really thriving with those kind of mga positive na mga motivation. Ngayon, as we draw close, ang bilis ang chikahan natin na parang feeling na parang lang tayo chika-chika. Oo. Ngayon, it's as if you're talking to that specific mom right now, Miss April, a mom who is, let's say, frustrated right now, agitated right now, a mom who is like feeling lost because andyan na, bigla siyang pinasukan ng self-doubt, guilt, and she feels that she can no longer do this. What will you tell that mom right now?
I think to the mommy who is doubting herself and has been going through her own personal challenges, I would say, hindi kaya mo yan eh. Huwag mong kayanin mag-isa. I think that the easiest thing to find a way out of that is to find a good support system. It's so hard to parent a child. I agree. Kasi most of the time also it reflects you and your childhood. And if you see that and you're hurting as a parent, as a mother, as a woman, find a good support system. Talk to that support system, and then when you're okay, get back to your child. But at the same time, I think you are also underestimating the support that your child can give you. I also do that. Minsan nakala ko hindi ako matutulungan ng anak ko. But most of the help I get is from them. And the purity that they have as children. And the way they see me as a perfect mom. I mean, not perfect, but someone that they really rely on 24/7. So it's a very sacred feeling to actually be a mother. For me, at least for me po. So, yeah. And hopefully...
Yeah, ano naman ako doon. Well, it is, family is such a sacred thing, and motherhood is the noblest calling one can ever have as women. If you're given that opportunity, right? And sometimes we're also given that opportunity to also to also take care of babies not ours, biologically speaking, right? So yung love natin can really extend to any person on the planet. And I love that you emphasized how we can find that support that we need within the walls of our home. Di tayo lalayo. Of course, meron pa rin professional help. If there's a need, you should go for that. If there's also a need. Well, it has been a very insightful night, Miss April.
Thank
And
you.
going back to this, naalala ko yung mga psychology lessons ko dun sa subject ko. And learning this from someone who's really advocating for this kind of mga good things and helping children cope up with life. At the same time, parents cope up with the situation is, for me, you are a miracle worker. Because hindi madali mag-facilitate, trying to balance it out. And with that, Miss April, I just would like you to, plug or just invite moms na certain groups that you are also supporting. Go ahead, do that.
Hi. Promote ko po si Smile Train. Smile Train Philippines is a nonprofit organization. You can donate. We have a QR code that is in our page. Go to that, Smile Train Philippines po. And if you do want to also volunteer as a peer facilitator, parent or mentor, specific cleft patient, either mother or patient po, we are very much open to that. I'm also affiliated with BYU Management Society. It's a
Yeah,
leadership.
hello.
Hi. It's a leadership organization for believing in moral and ethical leadership. I'm also with Abundo Psychological Clinic. It's a local clinic here in Bulacan. I am supervised by a registered psychologist, a licensed psychologist. So I also do therapy under her supervision. Actually, they call us psychologist in training.
Okay.
But to be safe, I just promote myself as a mental health advocate. So, but yes, APC, Abundo Psychological Clinic. Actually, they're one of the clinics that offers mura, ano ba yun? Hindi man cheap.
Affordable, yeah,
Thank you po.
affordable, yeah.
Affordable fees. Say the owner believes that mental health is for all. So as much as possible, she tries to really put the cost as low as she can. So she's really a good owner and a good psychologist as well. So yeah.
Wow, that's really great of her. And of course, if they want to connect with you, are you on LinkedIn or do you have a special FB page?
Oh, thank you po. Yes po, I have April Adaw on my FB page, Facebook page. I'm also on LinkedIn, April Fernando Adaw, and Instagram, April Adaw. Also promoting my mentor's page, Seeds in an Apple. She's a really good a person too. She's in the United States, but also promotes Filipino-based ideals for therapy and for healing. So yeah, follow her page also. Yun
Yeah,
po.
follow her page and hopefully we can invite her over for a webinar as well because we invited her for self-reliance naman, but this time para pag-usapan naman ng ating about parenting. Well, thank you so much, Miss April Addo, for shedding lights on the wheel of emotion, especially coming from a Cleft advocate. Thank you so much, B-Moms, and hope to see you again in our next webinar.